Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope your day and your week have gone well so far. TGI Friday. The weekend is officially here. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. And of course, not just any NBA player prop video, our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay video. If you guys don't watch my NBA player prop video series here, every Friday, I do a 5-leg or more sometimes parlay, but a minimum of 5 legs every single Friday. And it's Freaky Friday. And listen, we've had a pretty good run here with our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlays. And let's see if we can keep that going with another one here today. But first, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We just hit 69 nice 1,000 subscribers just the other day. So we are getting closer and closer, and with your help, we'll get there even sooner. So guys, thank you very much, and make sure, hit that subscribe button. Just do it. We have the third and final night of the NBA play-in tournament. The NBA playoffs kick off tomorrow. I am so excited for that. After tonight, we will know what the official NBA playoff field looks like. But we got 2 more games before that happens here. We have a little Pelicans-Kings action and a little Bulls-Heat action for tonight's slate. Now, admittedly, when you only have 2 games, you need a 5-leg parlay. It's a little tricky, but I do think I found some decent value for a nice 5-leg parlay plus 603 odds for tonight's games. This video is coming out a little later in the day. Apologies for that, so I won't waste any more of your time here. Let's get into it so you guys can get those picks and get it logged into your sportsbook. I've been doing it for the past week, guys, and I will continue to do that. The link for the outlier link, which basically it takes you right to my picks, which you can then completely just transfer into your sportsbook of choice. That link will be in the description below. I will show you guys at the end of the video how it works and how to go ahead about using that. But it makes sports betting so much easier. You don't have to go ahead and enter all these picks in yourself. You just click on my link, the outlier link, and it'll take you right to my picks page. You'll click add to bet slip. It takes you right to your if you use DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever the case may be. It'll take you right to your sportsbook. So guys, let's dive into today's parlay. All right, guys, we'll switch over to the outlier screen. Now, you know what Outlier is. They're the best sports betting tool on the market. There's also another link in the description below that gives you a 7-day free trial to try Outlier for yourself. They're the sponsor of today's NBA player prop video and all of my NBA player prop videos here on the channel. I say it all the time, guys, whether I used Outlier or whether they were sponsored the channel, or not, I would use Outlier all the same. It really is the best sports betting tool in the market. There's a ton of videos that I do that show you guys how to use it. I am thinking, and you guys can sound off in the comments what you think, of doing another sort of like a how-to betting video. I did, obviously, how I bet my NBA player prop video a couple months ago. I'm thinking about making a video for what to avoid when betting player props or what to avoid when betting in general video. So let me know if you guys are interested in that. I am thinking about maybe making a video like that for people who are maybe new to betting, or maybe people just need a refresher on certain things. But one more time, guys, link in the description below, 7-day free trial to try Outlier for yourself. So same game parlay X, unfortunately, because of the way that we only have 2 games, the way that we have to bet is a little different. So we have 4 legs coming from this Heat Bulls game, 7 p.m. tip-off, and we have 1 leg coming from the Kings Pelicans game later on. So this is the first leg of our 5-leg parlay, the first out of 4 legs from this Bulls Heat game. We're going Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat over 34.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Look at the odds here. We are getting this on DraftKings and FanDuel. And listen, I've been shitting on FanDuel all year long, but I got to be honest, NBA playoffs, they've kicked up their game. They actually have more available right now than DraftKings does in terms of the alternate lines for props and stuff. So FanDuel, they waited all year. They're kind of like the Miami Heat, where they wait all year long. They kind of just coast, and then once the playoff comes, they flip the switch. FanDuel, been pretty good. I got to give them the credit where it's due there. They've got some pretty good lines for the games, not just for tonight, but for the playoffs over the next couple days. So no more distractions here. First leg of our 5-leg parlay, got Bam Adebayo. Now, at first glance, and I've been talking about this in my other playing tournament videos, the data is going to be misleading for some things because of the fact that lines are elevated for multiple reasons, especially in these 2 games. That all 4 teams, funny enough, I guess not funny, but funny enough, have a lot of injuries to them that are causing this to happen. So Miami in particular, I think, is one of the teams that's the most greatly impacted by the injuries. And so lines are going to be elevated, so the numbers at first glance are not going to look great. This is an alternate line for Adebayo, too. Minus 210. We're getting it on DraftKings. And yet, it's still like 3 out of his last 10 games, a 50% hit rate on the year, 35% of his last 20 games. Like, data at first glance is horrible, despite this being an alternate line. But again, that line is elevated because of injuries. And you see here, look, if it loads up here, the injuries for Miami. Obviously, Josh Richardson, he's been out for a while, but Duncan Robinson, game time decision, but no Terry Rozier and no Jimmy Butler. Massive injuries in a win-or-go-home situation for Chicago, for Miami. And look at the Bulls side of things, like their injuries are mostly the guys that have been out for most of the year. They do have a couple game time decisions there, but for the most part, the guys who are out for Chicago, they've been out all year long. Some brutal injuries for Miami, but let's go ahead and take a look now. If you watch my videos, you know with Outlier, we can put specific filters to show certain scenarios here. So let's go ahead and look at when Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier are both out. So starting off, we'll just look at the data without Jimmy Butler here, just to see what that looks like. So we'll go ahead and select Jimmy Butler, and we'll go ahead and see. So Bam Adebayo has played 21 games this year without Jimmy Butler. And you see already the data looks a lot cleaner. 17 out of 21 games this year, he has cashed the over when Butler doesn't play. It's an 81% hit rate, averaging 38.19 points plus rebounds plus assists per game without Jimmy Butler. And you see here pretty consistent cashes. Honestly, if you want to go ahead and take a look I'm not giving any straight bets today, but if you wanted to go ahead and take a look at some of the straight bets, so I guess that would be 37.5 is the straight line. Yep. And you see here, 71% hit rate without Jimmy Butler. So, including, it looks like his last 10 games. So, you guys are looking for a straight bet, not a bad option there. Adebayo over 37.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. The data, not as great, but honestly just about the same. But we'll go ahead for the purpose of the parlay here. We'll go back to our 34.5 point line here. And yeah, the data is slightly better. 17 out of 21 games. You see here his last 10 games, 100% hit rate. His last 20 games, 85% hit rate, 17 out of 20. And head-to-head, the one time he played Chicago this year, or actually not this year, last year, the last time he played Chicago without Jimmy Butler, he had a massive game, 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. We don't have to go too much further. I think that data alone kind of paints the picture. But we can also just go ahead and throw here when also both Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier are out. Now, this is probably going to be early season data because I don't know how much. We'll go ahead and take a look. And yeah, a lot of it is early season, but actually a good chunk of it from January on. So that's when they had Rozier and Butler on the same team. But you see here still a 75% hit rate when both Rozier and Butler are not playing for Miami this year, averaging 37.81. So slightly lower, but pretty much the same picture is painted there. And again, head-to-head, the last time they played, of course, Rozier was on the Hornets at the time, and Butler was still out. And look at the right side of the screen, the defensive matchup. The Bulls on the year, they're not a great defensive team versus the centers, but not a bad one either. They're about middle of the road across the board in terms of points allowed, rebounds allowed, and assists allowed to opposing centers. Listen, with all the injuries Miami has, Adebayo is officially the best player on the court for the Heat. He has to step up. I think he will. I don't think Nikola Vucevic is going to be able to slow him down much in this game. All right, guys, second leg of our 5-leg parlay. Speak of the devil, Nikola Vucevic. We're going with his under here, under 18.5 points. We're getting this from minus 195 odds on DraftKings. It is minus 180 on FanDuel if you want to go with FanDuel here. And look, now he has cashed this in 4 of his last 10. In 4 of his last 10 games, he's managed to cash the under. He's had a pretty consistent streak of cashing the over, believe it or not, here as the season came towards an end there. But the head-to-head data is far too strong for me not to take this here. You see a 75% hit rate against the Miami Heat with this under dating back to October of 2022. This year, they played 4 times. The only time he cashed it was on December 14th. He had 24 points. But for the most part, you see here, 3 out of 4 times this year versus Miami, he cashes under. And it makes sense. The Miami Heat, look at the right side of the screen, they're the 3rd best defensive team in the NBA against centers this year, giving up just 16.5 points per game to opposing centers. Adebayo is one of the top 5 rated defensive centers in the league, and so I do expect him to hold Vucevic down here. Listen, if the Bulls are going to get scoring, I just don't see it coming from Vucevic. They'll probably get it from their guards. I know he's on a little bit of a nice streak that you see his last 5 games, including the last play-in game versus Atlanta. He had 24 points. But I just think Miami defensively, they're too much. I just don't see it for Vucevic. And the third leg of our 5-leg parlay, sticking with that same mentality, I'm going Vooch under 12.5 rebounds. We're getting it from minus 265 on DraftKings again. On FanDuel, minus 225. Actually, slightly better odds there. This one, the data is a lot cleaner. You see in 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under. He's averaging 10.1 rebounds per game. Over his last 20 games, a 75% hit rate, 15 of his last 20. Again, averaging 10.05 rebounds per game. On the 2023 season, so far, a 75% hit rate for Vooch, 58 out of 77 games he's cashed the under. Again, averaging under 11 rebounds per game, averaging 10.56 rebounds per game there. And most importantly, the head-to-head data is fantastic. He's cashed this in 7 consecutive games versus the Miami Heat. The last time he cashed the over, you got to go back to October 19th of 2022. He had 17 rebounds and it was an 8-point win for Chicago. But each of the last 7 games, including all 4 times he's played Miami this year, he has cashed this under in rebounds. It's an alternate line for a reason. It's minus 265 on DraftKings for a reason. I really do like the spot. Again, Miami on the year, they're about middle of the road, give 11.8 rebounds per game to opposing centers. It's not like they're a fantastic rebounding team, but the numbers don't lie. You see all 4 times he's played Miami this year, he has managed to cash this under. Granted, it was earlier in the season that this happened, but I still like the numbers here for Vooch. All right, guys, the fourth and final leg from this game, our 4th out of 5 legs, overall on the parlay, but our 4th and final leg from this Bulls Heat game, we're going with Jaime over 14.5 points plus assists versus Chicago. We're getting it for minus 220 on DraftKings. This one actually isn't available on FanDuel. And again, first glance, the data is not great. He's cashed it in 3 straight games, but only 3 of his last 10 games he cashed it. You see on the season a 45% hit rate for Jaime, and head-to-head matchup, he has cashed it in each of the last 3 times he's faced off with Chicago. 3 out of 4 this year, he's managed to cash the over. So pretty good head-to-head data there. He's had an incredible rookie season. It kind of just feels like the Miami Heat just can do no wrong when it comes to drafting fantastic role players. We'll go ahead and put a filter in to see what it looks like when he plays without Jimmy Butler this year. And instantly the green, you see it increases. 73% hit rate this year when Jimmy Butler does not play. 16 out of 22 games this year. He has cashed that over, averaging 18.32 points plus assists per game. And just not mean to do that. For shits and giggles, we'll go ahead and see what it looks like without Tyler Hero. I mean, not Tyler Hero. Jesus Christ. Without Terry Rozier. We'll see what it looks like when both those guys are out. And you see here, actually increases 82% hit rate. He's played 17 games this year without Jimmy Butler and without Terry Rozier. He's cashed in 14 out of 17, averaging 19.65 points plus assists per game. And you want to narrow it down a little bit. Just the last 10 games without those 2 guys. Now, a 90% hit rate, averaging 19.7. And you see here pretty good hit numbers when those guys don't play. So with those guys being out, I expect him to step up and fill in a big piece of where the scoring is going to come from for Miami. I was tempted to take some Tyler Hero props because I know when Butler doesn't play, and especially with Rozier out also, Miami likes to run the ball through Hero a lot. But the Bulls also are a very good perimeter defensive team. So I prefer to go with Adebayo and Jaime here. All right, guys, 5th and final leg of today's parlay. Comment 12 if you made it this far into the video. We just passed the 12-minute mark. Our 5th and final leg of today's parlay. We're switching over to the Kings-Pelicans game. We're going to CJ McCollum over 21.5 points for New Orleans here. We're going to get minus 175 odds here on DraftKings. The data, on first glance, looks pretty solid. You see McCollum has cashed this in 8 of his last 10 games. He had a pretty rough showing against the Lakers in the play-in game, but overall, a pretty solid, consistent hit rate for McCollum. Over the last 20 games, 65% hit rate, 13 of his last 20 games. On the season so far, only a 45% hit rate. And this is an alternate line, which obviously at first glance isn't fantastic. And the head-to-head data you see here, a 50% hit rate versus the Kings. But each of the last 2 times they played, January 7th and on April 11th, he cashed the over both times. But again, injuries paint a big picture here. They play a big part in this. And Zion obviously being out really hurts the Pelicans here. Now we'll go ahead and put a filter on to show what the scoring numbers look like when Zion is out. So we'll go ahead and scroll down here. They're pretty much healthy besides Zion, which is a decently good sign for them. We'll go without Zion. See here, not a lot of data, not fantastic. I mean, not a lot to go off of, but he's played 8 games this year without Zion, a 50% hit rate, 4 out of 8 games. He has cashes over, averaging 21.63 points per game when Zion doesn't play. A couple low-scoring games there. The last time he played versus San Antonio on April 5th without Zion, he had 31 points. So it's kind of tough. When he hits, it seems like he hits pretty large, but he has had some pretty key misses there when Zion does not play, although you see here some minute stuff comes into play. But really, I'm looking at the matchup here, and you look at Sacramento defensively versus guards. They are middle of the road defensively in terms of points allowed versus opposing point guards. Bottom 4 against shooting guards. So on the perimeter versus guards, Sacramento, they're not a great defensive team. And so I like the matchup there. You look at versus small forwards, it gets better. Power forwards is weak, but that's where we would bet Zion. And honestly, this would be a great Zion game to bet on if he was playing. And versus centers, they're top 5. So it looks like the best betting spot here is against the guards. And I think McCollum in a winner-go-home game for the Pelicans, they do have home court advantage here. With Zion being out, with Brandon Ingram not being 100%, we bet on him in the parlay the last time we bet on them in that Lakers-Pelicans game. It very clearly looked like he wasn't 100% healthy. Maybe he's 80 to 85% sure, but he did not look like normal Brandon Ingram. So, with no Zion and no Brandon Ingram not being 100%, I'm expecting McCollum to be the guy who steps up for New Orleans here in this big spot. All right, guys, so just to show you, so here's our 5-leg parlay. And I'm going to show you guys, I told you in the beginning of the video, I started doing this about 2 weeks ago where I now put the outlier link in the video description below so that you guys can go ahead and just click it and bet it, and it's very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. You guys don't have to worry about this part. I'm going to open a second browser. So when you click the link that I put in the description below, it'll take you here. As it loads up, this is the screen that you're going to see. This isn't just for me to look at. This is the screen that you guys will get when you click that link. This is what's going to show up. So you see here, there's all 5 legs of our parlay. McCollum over 21.5 points. Vucevic under 18.5 points. Bam Adebayo over 34.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Nikola Vucevic under 12.5 rebounds. And Jaime over 14.5 points plus assists. You see here, all 5 legs available on DraftKings. 4 out of 5 are available on FanDuel. But it says it right here in the tagline. It makes very much that tailing picks is easier. So you can see it. Tailing picks is easier than ever. And it's the truth. All you guys got to do when you get to the screen, click add to bet slip. It'll take you right to DraftKings and it'll take care of you. It'll do the rest. You have to do nothing except for put whatever money value you want to put in there for the video. Again, 5-leg parlay plus 603 odds. Again, the NBA playoffs officially kick off tomorrow. So I will obviously be back tomorrow with my NBA player prop video for tomorrow's game. We do have, I think, 3 or 4 games on, so it'll be a little bit easier to build a nice parlay there. But guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. Give me your predictions for tonight. I know I stick to the player prop side of things. Ev kind of handles the more money line, totals, spreads side of things. I will tell you guys my prediction right now. I think Sacramento and Chicago both win tonight, and they will take the 8th seed in each of their respective conferences. But sound off in the comments down below if you made it this far into the video. Who you guys think is going to win tonight? Who do you think will be the 8th seed in both the Eastern and Western Conference? Again, I'm going Sacramento and Chicago. I think Miami's just too banged up, and although I like some of their player props today, I just think that Chicago is the healthier team slightly, and I think that the Jimmy Butler injury is just such a massive blow to them. I don't know if they can overcome it. And then on the other side of things, I think for the Pelicans, with Brandon Ingram not being 100%, with no Zion, I just think the Kings with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, they're going to be able to get the job done there. So those are my predictions. Let me hear yours in the comments below, guys. Until tomorrow, I hope we're all winners. Have a good one, guys.